This is the definitive aerial arsenal of the Imperial Japanese Navy and Army. From the canvas biplanes of the 1930s to the rocket-powered interceptors of 1945, a massive catalog of 60 Japanese military aircraft used in World War II. Let's begin with the fighters. The Samurai of the Sky. Mitsubishi A6M, the Zeke, the legend, fast, long-ranged, and impossibly maneuverable for the first year of the war. It was the king of the Pacific. Nakajima Ki-43 Hayabusa, the Oscar, the Army's equivalent to the Zero, incredibly agile thanks to its unique butterfly combat flaps. It was the most numerous Army fighter at Mitsubishi A5M, the Claude, the predecessor to the Zero. It was the world's first carrier-based monoplane fighter, terrorizing the skies over China before the global war began. Nakajima Ki-27, the Nate, an early Army fighter with fixed landing gear. It was incredibly aerobatic, but hopelessly obsolete and undergunned by 1942. Kawasaki KS-61 Heen, the Tony, a departure from tradition. It used a German-designed liquid-cooled engine, making it fast and heavily armored. KAWANISHIN 1K1 Shiden, the George, arguably the best Japanese fighter of the war, a land-based powerhouse that could outturn the American HELLCAT. Mitsubishi J2M Raiden, the Jack, built for pure speed and climb rate. An interceptor designed specifically to catch high-flying B-29 bombers. Nakajima Ki-84 High, the Frank, the Army's late-war masterpiece, with excellent speed, armor, and firepower. It was a true match for the P-51 Mustang. Kawasaki Ki-100, the savior, created by fitting a radial engine onto the Ki-61 airframe. It turned out to be one of the most reliable dogfighters Japan ever produced. Nakajima Ki-40 Fushoki, the Tojo, a stubby interceptor with a massive engine and tiny wings, deadly against bombers, but difficult to land. Kawasaki Ki-45 Toryu, the Nika twin-engine heavy fighter, the Dragon Slayer. It found its niche using upward-firing cannons to hunt bombers in the dark. Nakajima J1N1 Gecko, that Irving, originally a reconnaissance plane, it was converted into a night fighter to attack bombers from below. Kawasaki Ki-102, the Randy, a high-altitude heavy fighter and ground attacker. It carried a massive 57mm cannon in the nose to shatter tanks and ships. Mitsubishi A2JM Rapu, the Sam, the intended successor to the Zero. It was faster and stronger, but arrived too late to see combat. Kawasaki Keaton the Perry, the last biplane fighter of the Japanese Army, used mostly for training and second-line duties during the war. Moving on to the bombers and strike aircraft, the Sword of the Empire. Mitsubishi G4M, the Betty, the Flying Cigar, famous for its incredible range, but notorious for its unprotected fuel tanks that made it prone to exploding. Mitsubishi G3M, the Nell, the predecessor to the Betty, famous for sinking the British battleships Prince of Wales and Repulse in 1941. Aichi D3A, the Velp, the carrier-based dive bomber with fixed gear. It sank more Allied warships than any other Axis aircraft. Nakajima B5N, the Kate, the torpedo bomber of Pearl Harbor, obsolete by Western standards, but flown by the world's best crews. It was a devastating weapon. Nakajima B6N, the Jill, the powerful successor to the Kate, fast and heavily armed for a torpedo bomber. Yokosuka for Suize, the Judy, a fast, liquid-cooled dive bomber designed to outrun fighters after dropping its payload. Aichi B7A, the Grace, a hybrid weapon, large and powerful. It could act as both a dive bomber and a torpedo bomber. Yokosuka Pasatu Wiginga, the Francis, a sleek, twin-engine, land-based bomber. It was fast enough to be used as a night fighter. Mitsubishi Ki-21, the Sally, the Army's heavy bomber workhorse. It saw action in every theater of the Asian War. Mitsubishi K-67 Hero, the Peggy, the best Japanese bomber of the war, fast, maneuverable enough to loop, and heavily armored. Nakajima Ki-49 Donri, the Helen, designed as a heavy bomber escort, but it was underpowered and failed in its role. Kawasaki Ki-48, the Lily, a light bomber widely used in China and the Philippines, fast, but carried a small bomb load. Mitsubishi Ki, the An, an early light bomber with fixed landing gear, used extensively in the early conquests. Kawasaki Ki-32, the Mary, a liquid-cooled light bomber that served alongside the An. Mitsubishi Ki-51, the Sonya, a ground attack aircraft, slow, but rugged and maneuverable, perfect for jungle warfare. Nakajima G8N Renzen, the Rita, a massive four-engine heavy bomber intended to bomb the US mainland. Only 4 were built. Takikawa Ki-74, the Patsy, a pressurized long-range, high-altitude bomber designed to strike targets as far away as India. Next, the reconnaissance aircraft, the eyes of the fleet. Mitsubishi Ki-46, the D, one of the most aerodynamic aircraft of the war. For years, no Allied fighter could catch it. Nakajima C-6N Cyan, a carrier recomplaint. Its famous final message was simply, "No Grummans can catch us." Mitsubishi Ki-15, the Babs, a high-speed courier and recon plane that was the first Japanese plane to fly from Tokyo to London before the war, TACHIKAWA Ki-36. The Ida, a STOL aircraft used for Army cooperation and spotting, could operate from tiny, rough airstrips. Kyushu Q-1W Tokai, the Lorna, the only Japanese aircraft designed specifically for anti-submarine warfare, moving to the maritime aircraft and floatplanes. The rulers of the water, Kawanishi H-8K, the Emily, widely considered the best flying boat of World War II, heavily armed and capable of incredibly long-range patrols. Kawanishi H-6K, the Mavis, the predecessor to the Emily, a massive parasol-wing flying boat used in the early stages of the Pacific War. Mitsubishi F-1M, the Pete, an observation biplane FLOATPLANE. Despite being a it was agile enough to dogfight American fighters, Aichi E-13A, the Jake, the standard long-range reconnaissance floatplane found on Japanese cruisers. Nakajima A-6M2N, the Roof, a Zero fighter with a massive float strapped to the bottom to operate from islands without runways. Kawanishi N-1K1 Kyofu, the Rex, a high-performance floatplane fighter designed to support island invasions. It was the parent design of the George fighter Aichi E-16As, a POL, a rare floatplane equipped with dive brakes, allowing it to dive bomb enemy ships. Kawanishi E-7K, the A, an older biplane floatplane used for night reconnaissance. Nakajima E-8N, the Dave, a catapult-launched biplane used for spotting artillery fire from battleships. Next, logistics and training. Mitsubishi Ki-57, the Topsy, the transport version of the Sally bomber, the primary personnel mover for the Army Showa. Nakajima L-2D, the Tabby, a license-built version of the American DC-3. Ironically, the Japanese flew the exact same transport plane as their enemies. Kokusai Ki-50, the Teresa, a light transport monoplane with a distinct high-wing Taki-K-50. The Hickory, a twin-engine aircraft used for pilot training and VIP transport. TACHIKAWA Ki-9, the Spruce, an intermediate biplane trainer used by thousands of pilots. Yokosuka K-5Y, the Willow, the Red Dragonfly, the most numerous trainer of the Japanese Navy. Kyushu K-11W Shrew, a crew trainer for bombers. In the final days, many were packed with explosives for kamikaze missions. Kokusai Kuwait, the Gander, the Army's primary assault glider, were capable of carrying troops or a light vehicle. Finally, the experimental and special attack weapons, the Desperate End, Yokosuka MXY-7 Oka, the Baka, a rocket-packed, human-guided suicide missile dropped from a bomber. Nakajima J-9 Waiki, Japan's first jet fighter, heavily inspired by the German Me-262. Mitsubishi J-8M Shusui, a rocket-powered interceptor based on the German Me-163 KOMET. It was designed to climb vertically to attack B-29's Kyushu Jituju-Uish, the Magnificent Lightning, a futuristic canard design with the propeller in the back. Nakajima Ki-115 Ki, the Sabre, a cheaply made plane with a wooden stick for a throttle, designed solely for one-way missions. Manzu Ki-98, an experimental pusher propeller ground attack aircraft designed in Manchuria. 60 aircraft that defined the rise and fall of an empire. From the agile Zeros to the experimental jets, this fleet represents a unique chapter in aviation history. Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments.